and it's running along. And what we're looking at is just a status screen that this is the kind of the happy, sad metrics that I was talking about. What I actually want to go do, and actually let's go put some load on this box. Let's see, what do we want to do? Let's go, let's go create a share. So I'm going to go create a file system. We'll call this Lisa 2009 to differentiate it from the Lisa 2008 share that's already here. No, I'm just making that up. All right, we'll create that share. That's there. So if I now go over to my Finder, and if I should be able to mount this thing, Lisa 2009. And it should be true. There we go. That if I should see, there we go. So if I do this volume star, star-2. OK, so now I'm in that share. Nothing here yet. And I think I'm hoping that I've got, I think I downloaded the, oh no, I think it's in, I've got the Postgres source around here somewhere. Actually, I think it's a download, sorry. So what I'm going to do, there we go. So let's just do tar xvf. We'll just untar that guy. OK, that's unfortunate. Fair enough. All right, it doesn't like my. Let's try that. There we go. OK. Chug, 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 chug. OK, so now if I go to my status screen, I should see some work. I've got this is VMware Fusion, so we're doing a lot of work. It takes longer to actually do a virtual disk operation than an actual disk operation. That's nothing against VMware. They're solving a very hard problem. And so we can see here that we got my little bars kind of going nuts here, indicating that we're doing work. You may notice, by the way, these little weather icons. This is one of those things that started off as a joke that we ended up shipping. That we wanted some sort of qualitative way to express sadness. As I said, I don't like to get hung up on whether your machine is happy or sad, because you generally know. But there are times when you don't know. There are times it's like, well, this seems like I know I'm sad, so I'm looking for something else that's sad. Is this like I'm seeing X thousand NFS ops? Is this a lot or a little? We want to have some way of expressing that. I really hate green, yellow, red. Right? Because green, yellow, red, I mean, you could be, if you're doing 100,000 NFS ops, like, why is that red, man? Like, you're humping it. That's great. That's not necessarily red. That's just like doing a lot of work. So we found that the weather was actually a better metaphor, because it's like, hey, if it's sunny, like that's like not necessarily good or bad. It's just sunny, right? And if it's cloudy, it's cloudy. And similarly, if it's a hurricane, it's a hurricane. That could be good. And it's a real tribute to the kind of nerds that we sell to, just like us, I'm afraid, that they get this box and the first thing they do is like, let's make a hurricane. It's the. I think we are all actually sadists at heart. The idea of torturing machines is just does not. Thank God we're all in computing and not in biology. We'd all be doing vivisection all the time, I think. So we can see now we're doing the NFS ops over there, and I'm just going to click on that, and let's just zoom in here. And of course, now it's actually done. So what I want to actually do, and this could be exciting. I've never actually done this before in this box, but let's be exciting. So what I'm going to try to do is compile Postgres, because MySQL wanted me to log in first. All right, so let's see. We'll run configure there, and we can see we're doing work. That's humping along doing work. OK, and we're seeing, we're doing some number of ops. By the way, just a quick aside about how this actually works. How am I actually displaying the graphics? I am not using client-side Flash or SVIGs or what have you. I found that stuff to be way too primitive. It was too invasive. It was too slow. I had a lot of problems. I also did not like the fact. I think Macromedia really screwed up Flash in a lot of ways. I mean, I think that Flash actually, if they had open source Flash in 2005, 2004, that's what would be the ubiquitous standard. But they didn't do that. So anyway, I didn't want to use those technologies. So what am I actually doing here? Because some people, what sort of graphing package are you using? I'm like, I'm using C and libping. So what we're doing is actually, I'm just in C generating these pings dynamically. using libping, and because I mean it's like it is just drawing a graph. I mean it ain't that hard, you know. I mean I don't know why everyone wants to find some third-party package to just draw a goddamn graph. I mean you can do that, right? I mean you went to grade school, and okay, it's a little harder than that. I mean, admittedly, you got to anti-alias and do a bunch of crap like that, but it's not that hard. So I draw these things in pings. I draw the pings on the server, and then give you a reference to the pings, and the browser goes off and fetches the pings. And what it ends up being really snappy, very low CPU utilization. So I can have lots and lots of graphs going, and we don't actually drive that much CPU at all. And it's very snappy from the client's perspective. So you can be over a really slow link. So this data is not actually moving across the wire. The only thing that's moving across the wire is the actual graph itself. OK, that's done. And now things get really exciting. Will you make? Who knows? Well, you'll do something. You're doing work anyway. Are you doing actual? Oh, yeah, I need to catch up. Yeah, I paused it. Thank you. OK, so there we go. It's off, chugging, doing work. Great. So this is nice. This is, it's whatever. It's real time and so on. And you don't necessarily have that in a lot of other systems and blah, blah, blah. But ultimately, this is just the metric, right? This is actually, we're not actually getting to DTrace at all. We're just basically graphing a number, right? And this is more the kind of the happy or sad, albeit with slightly more texture to it. What I want to be able, you are not done. OK, good. Whew, thank God. I was about to say, I'd be very disappointed in VMware if it somehow managed to perform well right now. So we can see, and you better not finish up, by the way. OK, good. Yeah, all these pauses are making me nervous. You chug over there. So what I want to know, actually, though, is in terms of this number of ops, is this what I would expect or not? I don't know. I want to be able to ask some really basic questions about this, like, what files am I serving and to whom? That seems pretty basic. We're talking about NAS, right? We serve files to machines. How hard is that? And yet, there is no storage box on the planet that can answer that question. That's embarrassing. Right? So you can go drop $1 million with NetApp or EMC or whomever you like, and go try to answer this question. And if you're lucky and you've got a lot of throw weight, you'll end up with a bevy of support engineers chasing their tails for 3 weeks to basically tell you, I don't know. I mean, they'll be discussing things like going through Snoop traces and so on, and they may be able to come up with some vague answer, but it's definitely the ugly way, right? They're trying to figure out what you ate for lunch by going through your fecal matter, which is not not a recommended way to do it. But the reason, by the way, that they can't answer these kinds of questions is because they don't have DTrace, right? Because you cannot keep, for example, per file information on the fly. It would be too expensive. But with DTrace, we can do that. Because with DTrace, we can dynamically instrument the system. And if I click on this power drill icon, and it looks like a hairdryer with a bad attitude, but trust me that it's a power drill, I can drill down by type of op, by client, by file name, and so on. So let's actually drill down by file name. Yes, you keep doing work. You keep doing work. Do not stop doing work, please. Thank you. And let's make that a bit bigger. And let's make that a bit wider. So now we can see what files we're actually accessing. God forbid that I actually know what my NAS box is doing. More importantly, I can take one of these files. Did you finish up? You're going to make it again. You're going to make it again. Make clean, baby. Oh, no, you're not done. Oh, yeah. No. Yeah. But all that work. Yeah, I don't care. Make it again. So what you want to know, of course, now we're going to see a completely different load here. Where's time zone? Does it actually do much? So actually, this is a little hard on the eyes because we're, just in terms of understanding what's going on in terms of the directory hierarchies, what's actually, I want to actually show this hierarchically. So now I can actually see the directory structure dynamically. So I can see dynamically the directory structure that's being accessed. And I can determine what the hell's going on. And what you may discover, what many of our customers have already discovered, even with something as basic as this, and this really is excruciatingly basic, and we're going to get more complicated here in the time we've got left. But even with something as basic as this, you may find that you already have found your performance problem.